What is going on, fam? So in today's video, sorry, P's got the bike going on in the background. About to take him out to the fields, go for a little rip. You know, just sending it. But anyways, guys, got the daily in P's shop right now. Got the fan cooking on her. The reason being is because I'm about to do a valve adjustment today. I've heard through forums, whenever I did my valve adjustment on the K series, I always made sure the engine was cool. I always actually let it cool the night before, overnight, but just gonna send it. It's been cooling down for about maybe an hour now, and then we'll probably be out for about another hour. And with the fan cooking at it, she should be more than fine. I could always compensate for it a little bit if need be, but anyways, stay tuned when we get back from the field, and we are going to get this baby right, and I will do a detailed tutorial, show you guys how to adjust your valves if anyone needs help with that. The old Coleman cold start. Go, let's hear that scream.
There we go. Here we go. Wait for it.
Ooh.
Is there gas in it? You be shaking over.
She needs some milk. She's fast, Brandon. She's fast. Proud owner.
Proud owner. Full start burnout.
Satisfied customer. Would recommend to a friend.
Yes, buy a Coleman. Good time. Pour.
Tell me you own a Honda without telling me you own a Honda. This is some drip check. Drip check. Yeah. Hold up. Yeah. Swag, bitch. She's looking nice, guys, though, huh? That JDM grill is a really nice touch. DC Sports filter, sheesh. Thinking about polishing this too. Say I won't, to be honest. Say I won't. Say I won't. So guys, I just want to give a quick apology to Brandon for absolutely dusting him in this clip right here. It was not my intentions. You always want to stay safe on those trails and keep a buddy around you. But when you're used to riding with extreme hardcore riders like myself, sometimes you get carried away and you don't realize how fast you really are. So stay safe on those trails, keep a buddy around you, and try to pace yourself. Don't go too fast like I did in this clip right here. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Well guys, it is 5 o'clock, and as you guys see through those trees over there, the sun is still out and she is still shining. So for you East Coast guys, that's a good sign for us car season coming up and whatnot. But with that being said, we are putting the bikes back in the truck, headed back to the shop, and hopefully the valves are all cooled down and ready to get adjusted. But I'll see you boys at the shop. We are back, baby. She's still cooling. Let's give this thing a break. Save some money on this electricity bill that's non-existent. Let's see how we feeling. Oh, that's cool. To the touch. Ice cold, dude. The header's even. Hopefully it's just as cool underneath, so we can get this baby accurate to the 10th. So I'm pretty sure all you guys need for this is a 8 mil, a 10 mil, obviously a ratchet, and then a Phillips. Don't be that guy and take a impact to these, because you will snap them. So after a quick, literally like 5 minutes, if that, valve cover is off, boys. It's really a quick process. I didn't count, but I think there was like maybe 5, 6, 10 mils. Then you got your hose right here that you guys saw. Just take your pliers, put the clamp back, pull it off. And other than that, you literally just pull it right out. And I'm looking at the engine right now, or the head. This is my first time ever popping the valve cover, actually, since I've owned this car since 137K. And this car has gone through a lot of abuse. I try to keep up on the oil changes. I used to do every 3K religiously. Lately, I've been slacking on it. It's been pushing out, pushing 10K, honestly. I'm not proud to say that, but got to get back on the grind and get her mint. She's pushing up in the miles now. She's at like 212 on the dash. So definitely going to have to keep an eye on her. But overall, it's looking good. Looks like the oil could use a change, but it's only been 1,000 miles since I last changed it. But anyways, I'm gonna get the wheel turnover, I think probably to the left, get my socket on the crank, and get my cylinder 1 up to TDC. And then after that, I should be able to adjust, I think, cylinders 1 and 3, exhaust side. So now basically what I did, guys, is first off, I took out all the spark plugs just to remove pressure when I'm turning the crank. And when you're turning the crank, make sure to do it counterclockwise. I have an extendo screwdriver to fit inside the cylinder. I have it in cylinder 1 right now. That way I know when it hits TDC, top dead center. And I'm also eyeing the harmonic balancer and making sure the marks are lined up. It's almost like a iron sight on a gun. I'll put a light, hold on. So as you guys can see, there's those 2 top teeth. They look like an iron sight on a gun. You're gonna wanna line those up with that bottom mark that is located on the top of your crank pulley. It's that white little mark next to the belt. You wanna get that right in between those iron sights. And as you do that, that will leave cylinder 1 at TDC, and your screwdriver should be sticking up all the way up top. And now we are ready to adjust the valves on cylinder 1 and 3 exhaust side, and then cylinders 1 and 2 on the intake side. Got my handy dandy feeler gauges right here. I'm gonna start off with the exhaust side. First off, intake, you're gonna be doing a 7th thou, and then exhaust side, you're gonna be doing 9th thou. If you wanna be smart when you're doing this valve adjustment, you wanna save yourself some times and headaches, grab the valve adjustment tool. I'll leave a picture of it right here. I actually have one, just not on me right now. So basically what I am doing is I have a 10 mil box wrench, and I'll flip the camera around in a second. But basically I'm putting it on top of the nut, and then I'm using a flathead to adjust the valve while I have the gauge underneath it in between. And I'm rocking a 10 right now. Like I said, you want to use a 9 for the exhaust. So I'm just going to go a little bit tight with the 10. But I'm going to throw a little time lapse on for you guys, and you'll be able to see exactly how I'm doing it without the tool. So for any of you guys who don't have access to the tool, this is how you do it without it. As you guys just saw, I adjusted the exhaust and intake valves on cylinder 1. Like I said, I am working with a 8 and a 10 feeler gauge right now. I wanted to do a 7 and 9, so I'm just going a little bit on the tighter side. While cylinder 1 is TDC, you could also adjust cylinder 3 on the exhaust side, and you could also do cylinder 2 on the intake side. And I think that ends there. Then after that, you're gonna have to rotate the crank 180 degrees and you could finish off the rest. I just did cylinder 3. I'm gonna head over to cylinder 2. I'll do another quick time lapse for you guys, and then we're gonna get ready to rotate the crank. Now that everything is adjusted while cylinder 1 is at TDC, which includes exhaust side. Exhaust side was 1 and 3. Cylinders 1 and 3 exhaust side I just did, and then intake side was 1 and 2. So now that that is done, I am rotating the crank 180 degrees. But before I do that, I'm going to take off the crank gear cover. That's also just 210s. That way I could see it as I rotate it 180 to make sure everything has been turned correctly. As you guys know, this car has 212,000 miles on it, as I recently stated. Just to give you guys an idea on how the valves loosen up over time, I believe this is the, well, I'm like 99% sure this is the factory engine, and I don't think the valves have ever been adjusted. Maybe they have, but it doesn't feel like they have. I've owned the car since 137K, so I've almost put 80K on it, about 75 right now. First of all, I rotated the crank 180 degrees. So these marks right here, the little engraved or hash marks on the cam gear, have swapped places. They're now facing each other in the opposing directions. And now that gives me access to exhaust side cylinder 2 and exhaust side cylinder 4, and then intake side cylinder 3 and intake side cylinder 4. And just to give you guys an idea, first of all, this is a 10 thou feeler gauge. I'm supposed to be using 9 thou, so it would be even looser than this. But just to give you guys an idea on how loose it has gotten over time, that is just pure slop right there. And same thing with the other one. And then it's the same thing with the exhaust. I'll show you guys in a sec. Again, this is a 8 thou feeler gauge. I was intending to use a 7 thou feeler gauge. Just show you guys the slop. There you go. Absolutely terrible. I get over to cylinder 4, and to my surprise, after every other valve being loose on this engine or on this head, other than I haven't touched intake side cylinder 3 yet. That's the only one I haven't touched yet. But I'm on number 4, and like I said, everything has been loose until I get to this one right here. And it was like literally probably 3/4 of a turn tight, like really tight on there. So I'm hoping that I'll notice a big difference after everything is said and done and the car's back on the roads, because it seems like everything was pretty whack out of spec, which I was expecting, which is why I was doing this, because I was hearing a lot of noise in the valve train. But definitely curious why this one was tight and the other ones were loose. The valves are officially all adjusted. Everything is in spec. Like I said, I went with 7 intake, 9 exhaust. Technically 8 and 10, but like I said, I did the tighter of the two. That way it'd bring me closer to 7 and 9. And now that everything is all down to spec, I got this valve cover gasket kit. Comes with the regular valve cover gasket, then it comes with little like spark plug, like O-ring type gasket thingies, and it even comes with little caps for on top of the valve cover. So I'm gonna get that on. I don't have any Honda Bond or RTV, so I'm gonna send it without it. Should be all right. If anything, takes 2 seconds to take it back off. But I'm inspecting the head right now, and everything seems pretty clean. There's a couple things that have fallen in since I took the valve cover off, like that, like a little pebble that I just took out of it. That wouldn't be good. But let's get her back to together, start her up, and hopefully she's sounding and running much better. So now guys, since the rubber grommets that were in there for the spark plug seals were like hard as a rock, all the plastic cracked and got inside the valve cover. So now we're just taking some brake cleaner and hopefully getting everything out of there. After a decently long night, not too long, but a little bit of time to get everything dialed in, the gasket is on the valve cover and the channel. The spark plug seals are all in place, and the old ones, let me tell you, they were a freaking pain getting out. If you guys see, it is not even rubber anymore. It is hard plastic. Watch this. Boom, they're so brittle. They just absolutely just snap with very little pressure. See, they are hard as a rock. So old ones were not doing us any good. Got the new boys in there. They're Pro, but they'll do the job. Bada bing. And the head surface is all the rubber that was left over from the old gasket is off. Cleaned it off with some alcohol, so it will seat nice and properly. So let's get the valve cover on and throw a little bit of couple dabs of RTV on the corners. Call it a day. Give her a turnover. Put the cover back on. And I think that's about it. Should be good. I forgot to make a little outro at the shop, so I just want to let you guys know, if you guys have any questions regarding the valve adjustments, please leave your comments down below or visit me on Instagram at thatwhitefd2, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Just shoot me a DM and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope I went into detail enough and that this video helped you guys out. But anyways, thank you all for watching and stay tuned until the next video. Peace out, fam.